Good morning, good afternoon to all my lovely brothers and their lovely sisters, as I don't want to have extra sisters.
I
Anyway,
thought you were going to change the intro.
I felt like today to use that because there's
You
nothing much
know, he actually likes the intro,
I
Deep down
like.
he actually likes it. It's just that, you know, he doesn't want to admit it. Last week I don't know, he
Yeah,
was probably on some smoke.
Last week, honestly, I was not feeling it. I was not feeling in the sense that I was not feeling like to do the podcast. Like I was really tired. All
Hmm.
Yeah, I was tired, and I was kind of bit lost. I mean,
he
this is the
felt
thing.
like
Yeah.
he didn't put the energy that he had in mind.
I know the thing, and the thing was very funny over the previous week was that I planned the first episode with you, Kiwi, and I was like, I envisioned, okay, I'll talk this, I'll talk this, I'll talk this, and my aim was, okay, I will not keep anything planned. I will just like how our conversations are off camera, I wanted the same energy, but I was just that day I was not feeling energetic at all. So I was like, okay, khali wali, I just want to get it done. So the
Yeah, I know.
outcome, the
The
outcome.
thing is, our convos and our banter without the record is absolutely funny. Like it's legit really funny. If
Yeah.
there was a constant video that was recording us, oh my god, that's real good content.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, acha. Uh, I don't remember the exact episode probably, but I still feel that this is the episode which I'm trying to bring out to recall is I think episode 3. And
Hmm.
episode 3, I already spoke about a woman drinking a particular shake. Remember, Mustafa? And after that, I talked about
Mustafa opened his eyes too. This is something sketch. I have no clue.
and it's an intelligent DNA. Intelligent DNA. Every woman always has that intelligent DNA, but most of them spit it out. But this one decided to put it in her
They don't
smoothie.
have it. See, no, the joke was that
Uh,
every
wait.
woman
I know
takes,
this.
yeah, it's not
I've actually
have it.
seen a meme of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but this
most of
lady,
them have this intelligent DNA, but most of them spit it out.
but this one
Yeah, I
doesn't.
got this.
This one doesn't. She
Mm-hmm.
puts it in her some nice smoothie. She will put it inside and she will drink it and she'll say that I'm using this for past 2 years because it is creating my immunity, boosting my immunity from
Yeah. Okay.
coronavirus. So that is
So wait, what's your point?
anyway, the link is in that episode 3, but the main question comes was this. But I think that was in the very same episode I was saying that what I was saying, yeah, that Microsoft developed a computer and it can download your entire DNA of a person. So one DNA has about 430 petabytes of data. So what
You wrote
does
it somewhere?
no, I remember it.
Okay.
And
Petabytes.
yeah,
Wait, is that higher than terabytes?
I don't know about
Probably.
that, but this is like the way they measure basically.
Okay.
And there's an article you can also Google it, and
Mm-hmm.
Harvard articles also. I got a video though. So this man was saying this that Microsoft has this thing, and they said that they can make a clone out of your. You can take a literal skin cell of your body, make a
Mm-hmm.
clone, and then transfer the consciousness because your DNA also has your consciousness. All that it's something weird,
Mm-hmm.
something more interesting. So if you die, they can put that
Mm-hmm.
consciousness in it and your DNA and
Mm-hmm.
everything, and that person will have all your memories, but it's not you, but it's you.
Wait, the person will have our memories. How do
Yeah.
you transmit memories?
Your consciousness, when you have your consciousness, probably your memories, because this is the thing, yeah. Your DNA records everything. Your DNA,
Okay.
your DNA has all the information about you as your body, and I'm pretty sure it also can retain experiences because your DNA also has the genetic, the information related to your brain, yeah, how your brain is, everything, No, DNA is it's a very important, it's a very important subject, and it's very hard to explain also because at one point it gets complicated. The easiest thing is it's the information
Okay.
of your body, but then as you go there, then some scientists can only explain. But this is what they were saying, that your consciousness can be transferred into this.
I mean, the concept is crazy. I didn't know it had advanced this far. I do know this gene mutation and things are going on quite a bit. I was actually listening to Joe Rogan recently, and like there was this guest that came in, and I think it was Christina P or somebody, and that was the episode. He was talking about all these things and how gene mutation has gone so far ahead, where apparently in China there is this lab where these researchers are testing this one where you can advance certain parts of the DNA in a way that you can create kids with like perfection. You know what I'm saying? And if you get it. So apparently there are these viruses that they use to kill off certain bad aspects of the kid, right? So if your that particular gene or DNA is not active in like sports or whatever or those things, this particular virus can actually alter that. In a way, this kid will actually be good at sports, or he'll be good at running, or he'll be athletic, or he'll have higher energy, or those things.
Basically,
They can alter them. Yeah.
basically, it's
Yeah.
I was also reading about genetic mutation, but in a very different context. But it does apply in this way. But you also know this. I think I've spoken with you privately before also when we started this podcast ever the idea of my podcast. I think I spoke before also this on this topic that let's just say scientists believe that all the animals that existed in the 10,000 BC era, that is the Ice Age era, okay, the
Mm-hmm.
10,000 BC, there's mammoths, woolly mammoths, and all the different kinds of mammoth species. There were some lion species also, the king of lions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There was a saber-tooth cat. By the way, it's not a tiger, so it's not an ancestor of a tiger. I don't know why people say it's a tiger. It's not a tiger. It's called a saber-tooth cat. That one.
Mm.
The dodo bird actually was alive up to after the ice age also, but the human being just killed it for its meat.
Yeah, wasn't it
Uh,
there a few years before we were there as well? Like before
it
we were
was
born, a
up.
few years back, it was there.
It came all the way to the 90s. No. It was dead before we arrived on this earth.
Yeah, before we arrived. I
Yeah,
mean, a few
and
years before we arrived,
it
it was
wasn't
still
up.
there.
It was up till the 20th century. It was there in the 20th century. It was up till the
Okay,
20th century. That's what I'm trying to say.
crazy.
And
Yeah, I know. They're working on that also
also
separately,
now the thing
where
is
they've taken the mammoth thing. Yeah,
so now
and they're trying to
basically
like regrow it.
the great thing about the ice age is most of these animals are preserved.
Mm-hmm.
So their DNA is preserved, the skin tissue and everything is like there's a fresh carcass. I think if you can cut it off and turn the meat out and you can, I think it's eat it because it's not rotten. I doubt.
Yeah,
It's preserved.
it is. It froze.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah,
they
and the
can
blood,
access
even the blood
the.
is fresh, but it's frozen.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
you can. If you go to
yeah,
Siberia, you can maybe try some mammoth meat. Who knows? It's still there.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing. And they found two frozen lion cubs. So it as beautiful they look, it looks very sad. Like they just came into the world for a couple of seconds, basically. Let's just say, and
Mm-hmm.
they hardly could open. As predators, yeah, this is the concept of predators. When the kids are born,
Mm-hmm.
their eyes are closed. Their eyes open after a couple of days or a couple of months,
Mm-hmm.
some period is. Whereas for a herbivore
Yeah.
animal, they have the eyes already open and they always land on their feet. So if a predator comes, they start running.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
that's the case. So they might have not even seen they died. They might have also don't know that they've been dead. The world is ending.
That's crazy.
Yeah, basically they
Yeah,
died.
I know that they have advanced quite a bit to a point where they are really researching right now. They're trying to
So now for
take that DNA and like
yeah,
infuse it with the Indian
yeah,
elephants or so,
yeah.
right?
So they say that this for the woolly mammoth, the most closest relative is the Asiatic elephant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they'll do this so-called surrogacy. So they'll take the egg of the female Asiatic elephant, and
Mm-hmm.
the DNA of this particular. But mostly, I doubt they're taking genitalia DNA. I think they're taking the skin cells tissue. So they
Yeah,
have this
yeah, that's
process of
skin.
they have a process of depurposizing the cell. So basically, their cell can change into a certain amount type of cell in which it loses its purpose. So suppose a skin cell can be degenerized into some purposeless cell, some form of purposelessness, and then what it will do is they will place it near us. Maybe they can see everything is frozen. Probably the genitalia is also frozen of that animal. So probably if there's a male guy, they can just look at the frozen semen and then they can put it near this, and then that cell turns into the sperm basically, and then
Mm-hmm.
they will through test tubes, or they will and like basically they will fuse the egg and then they will reinsert the egg inside the elephant. That's
Yeah.
the case. And then they hopefully what is going to happen is a hybrid between a woolly mammoth and an Asiatic elephant, because it's not going to be pure. It's not going to be pure. And
How far has that actually come? Do you know? Have you followed it? Like,
it's
have they?
it's pretty, yeah. I doubt, like, I'm not really followed it, but this is the issue, and they're doing it. I think in the very same article they did read that they did revive an ibex type species in the ice age, but what had happened was it just was alive for a couple of minutes and it died. The problem with co-learning and this kind of this is you do not know life expectancy. You can fail immediately. But then
Mm-hmm.
the thing what they're saying, what they were saying was that the whole idea to bring back mammoths and all is to improve global warming essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, animals do have an impact on the habitat and on the environment. So they're saying that if you bring them back, it's gonna be good. Anyway, let's see how
Yeah.
far they come.
And
I would be
this
really
is the
excited.
last article as such, I think. The CNN has something about they spent about 15 million to actually try to recreate this. This is from September 13th, 2021. That's the
Achan,
last
and
actual report.
did you know that the carrier pigeon itself is a different species of pigeon that they killed? The humans killed, they shot it. It's a particular species called carrier pigeon. It was not just a pigeon. It was not just any pigeon. It was called a carrier pigeon.
Hmm.
So that was
Yeah,
also fun.
you know these random pieces of information. I have no clue how you know all these random things, but
Yeah, I
crazy,
know.
cool.
Yeah, the thing is that. Anyway,
Yeah, so yeah, continuing with that, he was talking about all these mutations, and then he jumped into this topic, and the topic was he's spoken about this before on his podcast, and he brought it back again. And I wanted to see what your guys' thoughts are on it. He was talking about this new trend. I believe it started after Ashley Graham, the model. It's about the concept of fat models. What do you guys think about it? Like, what are your thoughts
I
on
think
fat models?
we are what we've grown in that in this kind of a society where we only see all like in models in terms of male and female people who are in like a good condition. So anytime you're seeing actors or actresses talking about, oh, they're getting in shape, they need to look good for their upcoming ramp walks or something. It's
Hmm,
cause the industry actually requires that now. It's more
hmm,
a common thing because like before it wasn't so big a deal. I mean, it's always been there that a person should be looks good. Like you do anything on yourself on social media, will be some amount of people that'll be trolling you for some or the other thing. So it's it's kind of a thing now that everyone's really conscious about it, and because of this main reason, people are nowadays going into depression, and they hate themselves because the people commenting and what the industry wants from them. I don't know.
okay.
I recently saw this one
So
interview.
you're actually for it, kind of.
I mean, for fat models.
Yeah, the concept of fat models. Are you
Um,
supporting?
no. So what I'm saying is that I don't know. I'm not. I can't really say that I'm aware of it or I've seen it. I'm just saying that there's more of like the good shape models in trend as of now that
Mm-hmm.
I mean I haven't seen it. So I obviously I am an open-minded person, and I'm obviously always I accept new stuff, and like these kind of stuff is always welcome in the industry. But I haven't seen it, so I can't really make a yes or a no kind of an option for it.
Okay.
Uh, you go ahead. You explain
Uh,
your side, and I want to pitch in what I think about it.
okay. So I want to say one thing. First of all, I will agree on one side of the spectrum that yeah, the models here, that the slim and trim, this which we're seeing, they also are working hard to gain the attention and the industry and all that. Yeah, fine. So
Mm-hmm.
they end up going into this extreme way. They start using Botox, started using fake breast with silicone. They will do whatever it takes. I've seen a
Mm.
video of a woman that is like she shrunk her waist by removing some of her ribs, literally.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that is people are willing to go to that extreme just to look
Mm.
just to look attractive. And the thing is, because the human body, and I think the partly the reason is not just to getting the attention and to get the best roles and to improve the business. They themselves know that you can be disciplined for such a long time, then you crash and your body goes into a rebounds phase. It happens. Like I also go in when
Mm.
I try to get in a good shape. I tend to stay as much as possible, and then there comes a time where you go in a dip. You need to take a
Mm-hmm.
downtime. But because of this kind of so much pressure on them
Mm-hmm.
to look good and basically to excel in their modeling business, in the acting business, they end up using methods that are not necessarily healthy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, a vast majority of the average person does
Mm-hmm.
not want to look like them. Vast
Why is that? Why do
majority.
you think that is?
Look, because I am into bodybuilding. I like bodybuilding. When I look at some of the physiques, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
especially I was just looking at one currently I'm just looking at bodybuilding competition right now. It's in New York Pro. If you see different categories, some of them are extremely huge muscular guys. I get I mean, I look into them with awe, like a
Mm-hmm.
fascination, because it speaks hard work in this. True. But I don't want to look like that, because I know how much effort and what needs to be done. And
Yeah.
a lot of people themselves, an average man especially, would not necessarily would like to look like that huge. Okay. He
Mm-hmm.
would want a 15% body fat, which is a normal for human man. With
Mm.
and 50, you need some body fat basically, because it covers your joints, it heals your joint, keeps your joints in this. Once you get obese, it becomes a bit problematic.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you're normal, the thing, and for a woman, it's 31% body fat is fine for a woman, because they carry more fat cells compared to men. That's the biggest difference.
Mm.
In our body type, that's the biggest difference. They carry more fat cells, we carry more muscle tissue. That's why we're just bodies. So now and it's very funny that
Mm.
when you look at these fat models, most of them are
Mm.
women, and most of them
Mm.
obese. Most of them
And
obese.
now Mikhail is hitting good points now. I was actually going to come to that. Yeah,
Most of them obese.
go
I'm
for it.
following this topic for quite some time now, so I'm coming to this now.
No, no. I'll jump into that particular thing. It's not saying that it's only women. It is men. There are men, but the thing is, when
The
a
tantrums are
man looks fat,
the
when the
tantrums
man looks fat, he
the
can't say the
tantrums
same thing.
the tantrums are done by the woman. By
No,
the,
no. Forget the tantrum. It's uh, in the public, okay, or in the social media world. If you come out as a body positive, um, slightly plumpier woman, you are supported. But if you are the same way, but you're a guy,
mm,
they'll be like, dude, you're fat. Go hit the gym. Okay. Nobody's like, ah, come on, this fat guy is cool looking. How many fat model guys do you know? And I can say a list of fat model girls
I
that
don't know the names,
are
but
popular right now.
I don't know the names, but I've seen a lot. Okay.
Yeah, so
But
this
I'm
this
I'm
concept
actually
is very like lopsided one way.
It because it's feminism, basically. There's a lot of feminism also added into this. That's why. But I'm happy with this. The fact that if a man is plump and people are fat shaming, we need that kind of thing. Because honestly, I'll
Mm,
tell you one thing. Let's go to the extremes. So when you have a bodybuilding physique, in that also there's a heart risk skill, heart risk, heart attack and all these problem. Okay,
mm,
and you also when you're obese, okay, also
mm,
you have the same heart risk and the same some sort of same issues that movement, mobility, and all that. But
mm,
both have the same risk.
mhm.
But where are you going to be inclined towards? If you have
Mm.
only these two options, where will you be inclined towards?
The healthier option. See, this is where my concept comes in into this entire thing, right? I I'm also like how I was talking, but I'm open to it. Okay, I'm open to the concept. But if you're simultaneously working out, there are individuals I know. There are individuals who have been working out for years, right? But are unable to lose the weight. Okay, but they're constantly working towards it, constantly hitting the
let's
gym. They're doing
remove
things
let's rem-
actively.
let's remove those exceptions, because I also know that
Okay.
some people have thyroid and these kind of hormonal imbalances in their body, which create issues. Throw them out of
See
the
them
list.
them body positive, cool. But then there are individuals who use this body positive thing just to not do the right thing. I mean, like honestly, don't quote me that I am wrong. Research has proven from years that a healthier diet is better for your food, better for your organs, better for your health, right? You live longer. That is a fact. Okay. There are people who go into the slump saying, hey, I am happy with how I am. Okay, cool. I respect what you're saying. But uh, then there is a point where nowadays there's this new trend where they shove everything down your throat. Okay. That I hate. Okay.
And
Stop. Okay, cool. You being positive, you being happy with your body, all that cool stuff. Absolutely great. Okay. I
and
don't
it's
mind your
and I want to point
that's
out
your
one thing.
personal
I want to
opinion.
point out one thing. I want to point out one thing. Well,
Mm-hmm.
let's bring the males in the spectrum of when they are physically well built and everything. You know what they start
Mm-hmm.
saying? They do not. There the negative spectrum is they don't allow this kind of they don't tolerate they still intolerated in one way, because it's still the
Mm-hmm.
bodybuilding aspect of men of making a good physique for a man in today's generation is still on a sideline. You see them as modeling, you see them whatever they're doing,
Okay.
but it's not in the forefront. Like how they you
Mm-hmm.
start to see this when you point out the agenda that that they're stuffing you this ideology this on your face. See, they're starting to
Mm-hmm.
bring these fat models and TED talks and putting all this undivided attention on them. Since when did a bodybuilder come on TED talks and some IFBB professional or someone who's very established in an organization coming and talking on a TED talk and trying to say that this is also something much better where and honestly, in my humble opinion, one thing I feel like, although both these, if you look at both these extremes, though they have the heart rate and whatever, but as a person, you still look at the person who has more muscles and more, because you can see that kind of hard work in it. You see that body has hard work. You will be
Mm-hmm.
inclined to that. Okay, you will be inclined to that. You won't be inclined to being a bloody roller pulley all the way. You won't be. If you have
Okay,
these two, if
let's
you have,
talk about how much energy you get. You probably know this because you have transformed
yeah,
over
yeah.
a few years,
So honestly,
right?
honestly, I'll tell you
Energy
one thing.
wise, how much energy do you feel like you
I'll,
have
I'll
right
tell
now
I'll
than
tell you
before?
one thing. I'll tell you one thing. People don't realize this. Even your the fat tissue and the muscle tissue, both the weights are different. Even in terms of scale, even if you're 92 kilos of bloody fat, as fat and 92 kilos of muscle, on scale it may be the same number, but how you feel is completely different. How you feel is completely different. Your muscle fibers are more lighter.
Hmm.
Muscle fibers are both lighter. That's why you're more agile. Think about Mike Tyson. He was a heavyweight champion. You think
Hmm.
if he was fat, he would be as agile as he was?
Probably not. Probably
Not. He
not.
won't. Not. He won't be. He won't be.
Yeah.
The strength that he has is all because of muscles.
Hmm.
Yeah, the skill is involved in it, but your physical strength is also important as more much as your skill. This goes
Yeah.
both
So, dude,
hard. Both
I was
goes
I was
much.
looking at this other person. Okay, like I work with this individual. Okay, and we don't talk or like we don't know each other as such. But I've seen this person, and they come in the bus and stuff and get off. Probably pretty young, not too old, but a heavier build. Okay, you the person takes what 5 to 6 steps and is already like unable to breathe. It's almost you feel like that person is dying in a way. Okay,
Yes.
that's how heavy they're breathing. See, when you hit that point, right? When you know you're unable to breathe after taking 5 steps,
Hmm.
that is the point. I think when you hit it's like realization should hit. I'm like maybe that many Coca-Colas a day is not good for me.
It's
And they don't
fine.
do any change at all. Like
It's
small
it's
changes are
it's
good
funny.
enough.
It's funny. It's funny. And I'll tell you what's this unique thing. The same kind of issues are you face when you're too huge, when you're muscular, it's too huge. Yeah, too huge. Also
Hmm.
there also. But the problem with muscular tissue is, as I said, yeah, it's a bit lighter, so you can actually be as heavy as possible up to a certain point. Even more, you can. Your weight can, basically you can get a leeway up to a certain point, but at one point
Hmm.
also, because because of your genetic framework, how big your body is, if you outgrow your physique and somehow, and you at one point the muscle tissue also becomes just too damn much for your body. At that point
Yeah.
also, it becomes a problem. So just think, fat is even denser. That is what I'm saying. Fat is
Hmm.
even denser than muscle.
Yeah. And
That means
just
you
want to let everybody know I'm not going one-sided here. If you're too thin too, like I know this
yeah,
model
yeah.
culture of being extremely thin is probably the biggest
But the
fame.
thing
Okay,
is, thin is
but
not
that
being
is also not
celebrated.
good.
Not thin is not being celebrated. Thin is not being celebrated. The problem is,
No, I would argue against that. Thin is
I mean,
celebrated. Like
not
most
to.
of the Victoria's Secret models are thin.
I mean, the way no, the way they pushing this ideology of fatness and tolerating being fat, and the way they're putting fat models in the stores slowly, slowly,
Hmm.
and this
See,
agenda of no, but I mean, where I'm
that
coming to.
too. When Nike bought out those um, like the dolls to put on, that I understand. Okay, for a person to visually see, maybe that fits well on me. Cool, that's a good idea. But
No, but this is the problem now. The thing
moving
become
towards it,
now. This
yeah,
is a
it's not
problem. This is a
encouraged.
problem. This is a problem.
Hmm.
One thing in our society is we have reached in a point that there was a time where the things were not tolerated at all, and then we are
Hmm.
moving to a society where things are being tolerated. The problem
Hmm.
is, what are we tolerating, the right thing or the wrong thing? The problem has become this in the society now.
So that is the problem, right? The
Now this is the
society
problem.
here
Now
is
I'm coming
everybody
to this.
has
I'm
their
coming.
own right and wrong.
Now the thing is, if you are giving this aspect of women to be fat, it's okay. But the
Hmm.
problem is, there are some people, then what they will do is, if I'm allowed to be fat to some extent, then
Hmm.
somebody who is, for a woman, let's just say about over 31% is overweight. Okay.
Okay.
She grows across it, still she's still healthy enough. Some women, they say, yeah, I'm a little chubby, but what I'm saying is, uh if you're showing this fat model thing on the Adidas and this, yeah. Now what happens to the person is, yeah, I'm okay at the moment. Someone who's like mildly chubby, not obese, mildly chubby. What now? She
Hmm.
gets that the wrong message that, okay, it's okay to be fat. From that point, what happens is, if she has this unhealthy habit of eating, and everybody eats once or twice a month, yeah, try 3 times a week, a junk food or whatever, and people just have not have a good active lifestyle. Yeah, all of us,
Hmm.
almost half the population. Even I am, but I'm like still, because of my gym, but still I have a pretty unactive lifestyle, I would still say.
Hmm.
But what I'm saying is, all of us in some way or the other have an unactive lifestyle. and eventually you go into this cycle of just continuing to do those repeated habits, and before you even know it, you're out of the spectrum and you go into this extreme. That's the problem.
That's
And
true.
then what happens is, since the society is pushing this idea that you're fat phobic, if you're fat shaming, and if you're saying that being fat is bad, and you start making us feel racist, because what is the essentially saying? If you say fat phobic, you're being associated with racism. Simple fact, when it's nothing to do with racism. This is how they're desensitizing and accepting fat people in society, which
Mm,
unfortunately shouldn't be. Because if you really care about that person,
mm,
you will tell them the right thing to do. Because you know what happens, most of the women who are obese, I just read something, they end up having premature babies, they creates birth defects. And also, if you don't if I'm not wrong, whatever you eat in your body and whatever habits you develop, and if your baby is pregnant, listen, be careful what you're eating, and be careful, because whatever habits you develop, the child may also develop.
mm.
So just imagine, if you're feeding shit to yourself, you're feeding shit to him, and he himself will become a shit boy or a girl.
So,
And
like, stay healthy. Don't go to both sides of the spectrum. Both sides are equally bad. Don't be too thin. I mean, I know there are people who have high metabolism. I am one of them. But force feed throughout the day. Probably eat a few meals, and slowly you will start seeing it.
uh,
It's
and
slow, but you start seeing it. And if you
now
are on the other side also, like what Mikhail said, try to actually start creating a habit slowly. Either do
Acha,
it
and
according to your food or
another thing,
your
if
exercise.
now people will, if after this podcast, if this really reaches properly, a lot of people seeing this, and we have comments on this topic. One thing, if people will say that, oh, because we're mostly talking about from the ladies' perspective, because that's what we cleared it. It's the males.
I'm saying both,
Yeah,
100% both.
but we focus more, because this ideology of fat, or not a fat acceptance, is mostly pushed by the ladies.
I think what really first you need to say is what is really how much is fat? What is really fat? Okay, like when you term it, how fat should a person be and how fat shouldn't a person be? From whatever you guys are speaking on.
Try
And
to
then
be
wait,
in
wait,
your
wait.
BMI
And then
spectrum.
second, yeah, and the second thing would be that if you're calling that person a fat model, wouldn't that be you're like you're kind of discriminating people who are in that kind of an aspect? Like, I mean, obviously they didn't choose to be fat. They have that kind of a body. And I mean, and since when you bring this word up, it's like you're keeping a different segment away, and it's like fat people are over here, there's like normal people here, and so they might feel left out
Hmm,
or offended.
There's
So
nothing
that's
to be
something to keep
exactly.
offended.
in
There's
mind.
nothing to be offended about. They are
And if
fat.
you're keeping a community, if
They
you're
are
keeping a
promoting. They are
fat
promoting.
community,
They are no. They have to be rooted out, because the reason being is, if they have to be called upon for the mistake, because what they're
Uh,
essentially doing is,
I,
what they're
I'm not
essentially is
calling
doing.
upon anybody.
I'm basically
Okay, I'm
saying,
not gonna call on anybody. I'm
I'm
just
basically
going off the podcast that I heard, and I wanted to see what you guys think about it.
because
Because
basically
what
basic.
Joe was talking about also was the same thing. He was on the thing where it's become beyond control now, to a point where it has become normal, and it is actually not normal. This is unhealthy, and it is not actually good for you. I
No,
mean, I can say it, but it's your choice at the end of the day. It's
already
your body,
already
it's your
already
choice.
already
It's true.
us is already us and Canada suffering from obesity already. You bloody going up with this shit and saying that, okay, oh, being fat is good, but because what they essentially is doing is, you're making fat models. They're making, they're literally, I'm seeing posters that they are in the magazine covers and all. What are you trying to say, that is okay to be that bloody fat? No, it's not. And when you say fat, I just said that for a healthy woman to be is max 31% body fat. Anything above that, even if you're above slightly, so let's say 40%, even
Hmm.
though it's slightly chubby, or maybe it's the beginning of the end, basically.
Hmm.
beginning of the end basically. So you are reaching towards the end if you manage your if you are being healthy enough, if you're doing exercise still and you're managing the weight and you're managing everything is fine. If you want to look like chubby, if you like being chubby, fine. What I'm trying to say is don't push this ideology of being overweight.
Mm.
But
Don't
I
go
think
to the
it's more
extreme.
about minds, but like your perspective, your understanding. Like
When
it's
you
according
see,
to you.
no, when you
Mindset.
see,
Sorry,
when you, no, 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 no,
it's
no,
as
no,
per your mindset.
no, no,
You
no, no.
can't tell me to be
Listen,
fat. So that's the
listen,
thing.
listen, listen. If you see a fat man, if you see a literally obese man with bloody stomach protruding out, what you
Yeah,
will say? What you say? Oh, no, he's
nothing.
chubby. No, no, no. What you will say in your mind, you will know that it's a fat man. Yeah, you know the difference between a
Yeah.
fat and a healthy man. You know it. The
Hmm.
problem is society is pushing to that unhealthy area. That's what I'm angry at. I'm not angry at someone.
I don't agree on that fact that the society is pushing. It's more on people's mindset of what's happening. I mean, I look at people who are fit and that motivates me to go. And now the people who are fat, they look at their role models and they think that that's
Exactly.
right, and
So
that is
now,
wrong, which is not right. It should be a healthy kind of a lifestyle,
so
but
if your role
it's
models
about
are bad,
mindsets.
if your role models are bad, then you follow the
You
bad
can't do
lifestyle.
anything. It's like you're
Exactly.
taking away their role models from the people, and then they'll come over you. So you can't do anything about it.
खाली वाली है,
Yeah,
पीछे
and
pilladi
and
पीछे.
for
And the
just so
thing,
that people also know, right? People also know. Mikael is actually not talking because he's not been on the side of the spectrum. He's been on both sides of the spectrum.
and
Okay,
another thing, let's be honest
he,
with one more
if you
thing.
see the old Mikael, you will know what we're talking about. He was in that state
already
and he changed.
already society is kind of destroyed, which you said already society is kind of destroyed in one half. When you started
Hmm.
off the when you did the opening statement, and I also added to the same point that even the models, especially in the, and this and it's quite funny, and it's quite um an
Ironic.
irony. It's an irony basically, that these thin models are mostly women at the same time. You have men also, but men in the last 10-15 years, you will notice men being in the modeling industry are more prominent. You can see, but women were all in general being used as models to promote cars, to promote everything, and that was that slim hood generation, yeah. And because of social media and constantly being in the eye,
Hmm.
they have to do these drastic measures of, as I said, do botox, put fake booms, put surgery, and do all these weird things, yeah. That also is affecting the health because eventually that's the biggest contribution to breast cancer and all that. And when women look at that and they start thinking that men, or because to get attention, whether it's sexual attention or whatever attention they need, then they start thinking I need to look like that. And then then these women start following. I've seen things like, oh, they make these gigantic breasts out of surgeries, and break their waist into like tiny waist and all that. That also is harmful. That at the extreme is also harmful
Yeah,
because
that is really harmful. Like I did see the person who took the rib out and stuff to make you extra. That is, if you look at the person, uh, it you will know it's
See,
just not right.
you
Like it
try to
feels weird.
change you try to change God's creation. It brings complication, and it kind of it obviously it's something that you're doing it yourself. It's like a suicide mission that you're trying something new on yourself.
And
and
this is where his podcast went to as well. He was talking about how later on in the future, now there will be a trend of a lot more people looking for natural people because there is so much fakeness right now, or I'll not use the word fakeness, that might trigger a few people. uh,
yeah, the world is fake. Wallah,
More
the world is fake.
modified, a more modified kind of body. Okay,
Another
not
big
gonna
fake.
lie, i'm gonna say I'm gonna say it. If that makes the person happy or whatever, do it. I mean,
Yeah.
if that is stopping you from being happy, then it's a problem.
And see, you
There
can't
are
blame
procedures that have gone wrong. There are procedures that have gone wrong that we have seen on like botched and these things, right? Like when they do a nose, like redo the nose and stuff, sometimes it gets blocked and they have issues later on in the future.
The thing is,
you
you
can't
want to do
blame these
it,
people.
you want to do
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
do it. You want to do it. Fine. And even if
yeah.
you want to promote it, okay, promote it in a way that okay, these are the advantage, disadvantages, but don't stuff it on the face. The problem now
Hmm.
it's like society, as you said, is they're going everywhere behind you with slogans. Accept this, accept this, accept. It's my reality that I don't want to accept it. Why do I want to constantly see the shit on my face? The problem with society is
Yeah,
that.
I would like to pick and choose like
See,
how you like to pick
don't
and choose as
accept
well.
it, but then don't also bring out that you deny you don't like this fact. Just if someone asks you personally that do you like it or not, just say you don't, but don't go telling people that this is wrong and don't do it, because then people will start backlashing you and you're
But the
gonna
thing
be in
is, the thing
trouble.
is now this is now the debate starts here. If they have the right to be as open with their opinion and stuffing it right in your face, with stuffing it in your mouth to say that with spoon feeding you almost to the point of spoon feeding, and you have to
But they
accept the
have
reality. No, they
uh,
accept the reality, and
uh,
then we don't have the right to defend what we think. And when we say it, then they are pushing
hmm.
it. If they push it,
You
I'm
don't
gonna push
have the
it back.
majority. That's
Man,
the thing.
I don't care about the majority. What is right is right.
That's
If
the
they
thing.
if they push, I have to push back. I don't.
Hmm.
If they come and said, okay, I like this kind of lifestyle, and this is my what makes me happy. Fine, get the hell what you want to do, but don't expect me to force the worldview. They say that
Yeah,
there's
no one's telling you to accept it. I'm just
no.
saying that
I'm just saying
don't
that
bring it out
I mean
unless someone tells you to do it. Say,
the
talk
world
about
is
it.
the world has become too liberalistic, and the world pushes this ideology some way or the other, and they're making it a point. You see how the rules and regulations the government makes, and it benefits certain group of people. We've seen that.
Mm.
And if you say a certain thing about them, and you get criticized to the hell, your entire image in society has been changed just to support these groups, these fat models and feminist models. And I don't want to accept your worldview. It's fine. Just because if you can criticize us, doesn't mean that we don't have the same right to criticize and same right to put forth our opinion. The moment we said our opinion, you're a racist, you're a fat phobic, you're a this homophobic, you're all these words that start telling.
That
So
is
it's
life
like
nowadays.
so the one side only has the right for speech, free speech. We don't have the right for free speech. The moment we
Free
open a
speech.
the
That's
moment
a
we
that's a big topic nowadays, huh? Free speech.
No, but this is connected to this now, because this fat model thing now, this is also another form of liberalistic ideas that are pushed in front of your face. If you accept it, well and good, you're celebrated in this world. The moment you start saying that no, I have a different view and don't agree with it, they will start saying you're fat phobic or this and that. And
There's
at the
always
moment,
always
at the
people, always people on both sides of the spectrum. If you support it or not, there are people saying things. So again, it's about what your opinion is, and say it out if you want to. But there is going to be backlash.
a
Yeah.
Like
backlash.
how we should be able to
But
accept
the
it.
thing is, what
That
I'm trying
that
to
also
say,
that
but
also right. I want to be able to tell people that try to accept backlash is not a bad thing. You are going to get it regardless of what your opinion is, because they have their opinion as well, right? But make sure you listen to it, take it. If you don't want to take it, listen from one ear, leave it out of the other.
exactly, but the problem is society. And now the thing is, they will start change if you're not accepting the current worldview of this liberalistic idea, and you go against it, this leftist movement, the rightist movement, whatever movement. Both these extremes have their own. This I try to use what is right from that side and what is right from this side. Basically, if it
Mm.
if it's not right, I
So
said no.
you're a centrist. That's a term right now. You're a centrist.
Because as long as it makes real sense to society, if it makes some stupid sense to society, and if it doesn't apply really, because what is happening, and I'll say one thing about society right now, we all live in delusionality. What
Mm-hmm.
was meant to be on this freaking earth, we're changing everything. But the thing is, since
Elaborate on that. What do you mean meant to be on these earths? Like I didn't get that.
think about this. Like, for example, I'll give you an example of age. Age is not
Mm-hmm.
as important, but when it comes to gender, and in your gender and the person you are, it's not
Mm.
fluid. But that kind of thing can be fluid somehow. And if at the very
Ah,
same at the
okay.
very
I know what you're talking about.
yeah,
That's a whole new can of worms,
but
Mika. That's a
I'm just
whole new can of
I,
worms.
But what I'm trying to say is that without, because in now we don't have the majority, the world is being brainwashed, being delusional and all that, is accepting everything. And if
Mm.
someone shows some sense and tries to challenge this idea, the problem becomes is that just because you have the right to share your opinion and spread it to the world, and you force people to accept it, because in one way there is forcing now. If you say against them, you're being stripped out from your jobs, you're being stripped out. You basically are the cancer to the society. You're being treated like that. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
in one way
makes
they
sense.
say, and in one way they say that is free speech. How is that free speech? I don't have this. I don't have the right to say my thoughts. Even right now, when I'm doing this podcast, I have to be so careful, thinking that I don't say too much, because there's a big risk. If truly
Um,
free speech is there, I would should be free ready to express it. And
I think that
all,
concept has gone beyond.
yeah, but the thing is, what I'm saying is, this fat model concept is also this new movement has become part of this liberalistic, and all these movements which are part of it, it's part of that in
Mm.
one way. Because again, as I said now, they push this ideology, accept fat, accept. And if you go against it, this movement is fairly just started. It's not as big, but these things, this will get big pretty soon. And there will come a time that if you say you're fat, there's such a, this call you name, and you'll possibly the same way as other things that are happening, you get in
Mm.
trouble for saying. That's the thing. I'm
I
saying
don't.
this society.
I think you already do get in trouble for like calling somebody fat. Obviously, I mean you can't go to somebody and say that. Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, I'm one thing. If I'm going in public and saying that that guy is fat and he's useless and all, I'm not that kind of thing, of course. But if I tell him privately, okay, and I said, look, bro, you're fat. You need to lose some weight.
Unless you know him.
I will go with anybody. If I talk with that person and if I get a good rapport, I'm gonna say to him, I don't care.
Hmm. I don't think that's a good idea.
See, I don't know. The word fat has more weight than the word thin. Have you like actually felt that? Like people call people thin on a regular basis, and it's not a big deal at all. But you kind of, at least I do, think twice before saying the word fat. I say like, ah, he's probably chubby. He's like
I can say it.
very healthy.
I don't think I can say it because I've lived that extreme side. So for me, it's very easy
Yeah.
to say. But for you guys, you
Hmm.
get like, oh, this. Because when I say it, I'm not saying, okay, this is the thing. I'm not telling the guys to go and shame the people. Okay,
Hmm.
harass them. No, but we need some kind of when I was in school, and the guy who used to in our friend circle who used to shame me, but that shame helped made the best out of me. So what I'm trying to say is, we need a little bit of that shame and a little bit of teasing, because sometimes negativity can bring out positivity. But then again,
Hmm.
as I said, anything done in an extreme fashion becomes bad. And the whole topic is this now. If you're accepting one extreme, that is a thin and this so-called model look from one side, which also creates
Hmm.
depression and this and another health issues, because if you start using all these surgeries and everything, then
Hmm.
that's also another extreme. But then on already one side of society is being damaged. What I'm trying to say, my point is, the whole point is already one side of society is being damaged. Now you bringing this shit fat models also, you see
Hmm.
what another way that society will be damaged. So you want a bloody seesaw effect? Only one side
Hmm.
is first fix one side and then think about something good. And if you want like uh body positivity and all that,
Hmm.
first of all, cancel out that obese extreme. And then you can look, okay, somebody wants to look a little chubby and fine, doesn't want to look too lean, doesn't want to look, that's fine. I don't care if you want to look chubby or not. I sometimes I prefer, like, if you take it into a context of getting it of attraction, sometimes
Hmm.
I like chubby women. It's fine. I don't like. I'm
Hmm.
not like saying that I want. I don't expect a woman to always look so thin and slim. I don't expect that. I'm not saying, I'm
Hmm.
not trying to keep high expectations, but what I'm trying to say is, if someone is just too damn fat, I mean, how are you going to even enjoy? And that person is, you can't even carry that person. Just think about it.
Damn.
Your entire your entire dynamic also changes. Yeah, I'm saying the
Mhm.
extreme. This is the thing. Be careful
Maybe the person wants to carry you.
when you think of a fat guy or a fat woman, it's like of extreme distended stomach, and that gives pressure to your legs to the point that you cannot move. And yeah,
Hmm.
yes, I've seen extreme. Yes. And you, as a person, just logically think when you see a person who is extreme fat. Again, I'm repeating, throw out the thyroid people and the people who have the hormonal problems and they really can't break down. Then
Hmm.
it comes with the doctor thing and they have to improve
Hmm.
their health. That's a different issue. But
Hmm.
genuinely, someone who's already healthy in some sense and who can
Hmm.
actually, with some work, can lose. I'm not expecting you to get a six pack. I'm not expecting you to be this extreme, this. What I'm just saying is, if you come in a healthy range and look
Hmm.
for yourself, it's going to be looking good. You're going to feel much lighter. You might, and again, there's another thing. Now, these very same fat models and all say that just because you're thin doesn't mean that you will not get heart attack. It doesn't matter, but you feel a sense of accomplishment. You'll feel more positive. And the thing is, you will try to achieve a lot of things in life. Like you start making goals. You'll get more disciplined. You'll
Hmm.
learn. You'll develop so much from that thing, of just that one simple thing of getting into a good habit.
Hmm.
Whereas you being a freaking couch potato and then continuously doing it, and you don't know, sometimes your habit can become extreme because you're following it every day 24 hours. You don't know, you don't see that coming, and before you know it, you're done. That's
Hmm.
the thing. And
No, it does.
adding to that, you accept fat models in the freaking stores and all that. Then you see you're adding fuel to the fire, more wood basically. That's the thing.
Hmm.
True.
The shit has to be called out. Kick that all those models out. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm talking about the mannequins.
Yeah, so just to end it, I had a question, guys. Would you rather have more time or more money?
Ah, more time, actually.
More
I
time?
would say time
And
because I keep running out of time. This week, especially with the amount of work I've had, I almost work 50, 50 hours, beyond 50 hours this week.
mm-hmm.
So I wish I had a lot more time because when you come back, it's already like dead in the night and you're so tired and you just want to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing. And sometimes, even if you're not tired, you force yourself to sleep because you have something to do the next day and you
Yeah.
know you don't have enough time. So, yeah, I'll choose time any day.
And what
You
about
can
you?
make money if you have enough time.
I'll choose money to buy a clock so I can have the time.
I mean, buying time, no, in this question, more time means like more than 24 hours. If you had more than 24 hours,
I know it's
you
a
happy
joke.
with that or more money? So what would you go for? Time or money?
It's a very tough choice.
Good question.
No, because honestly,
Actually, it's a
go.
good question because then this thing also comes, right? Before you say, Mikal, this thing also comes where even if you have so much time, you will use it like 24 hours itself.
Hmm.
Even if you have 48 hours,
Hmm.
you will just cramp it up so much that it will just feel like 24 hours again.
Exactly.
I mean,
That's
if
why
you're
I'm coming on the point.
yeah, I think I'll add to this fast because we have this college are coming to an end. The thing is, uh, look, if you're an unproductive person and if you have a lot of money, also you'll still be unproductive. But if you're a productive person, then you still use your time wisely, and you still have the money, and you use your money wisely also. So it depends on the personality and the person you are, because it's hard to choose because both are as
Yeah.
important.
I think for
Caderjet.
me, I would go more for like more money because in 24 hours I can't make money. Okay,
Hmm.
and like in 24 hours is like a kind of like in 24 hours, 8 hours I'm sleeping, and then the
Hmm.
rest is like the day. And in that, I no matter how much productive I'm gonna be, I'm not gonna make as much as money as if I choose more money. So that would be a
Hmm.
good thing. And like Mick said that it's about person using the money. So in that sense, if I can do something. So if I get more money in that 24 hours time period, I have that kind of a vision that I can multiply my money day by day. So that would help
Mm-hmm.
me more. So now if I have $300 and if I get like a $2,000 or something every day, I could just go buy NFTs and try doubling them and maybe buy Bitcoin. So now there's more investment opportunities than before, and so I would go for more money.
There's
Yeah.
one more video or other
True.
question if you would like to have. It's a nice one. If you have
Sure.
time.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
would you like to have a rewind button or a pause button in your life?
I just read that.
Ooh,
I also read that this, but I didn't ask that because I felt that this was better. But you actually asked it anyway.
Would you
good
have a pause
questions, man.
button or a rewind button?
Yeah,
Mm, that's a really good question.
Like
I
pause my
think,
life or pause anything around me?
your life.
Man, pausing my life won't make a difference. I think I'd
yeah,
go for
rewind. I
rewind.
choose rewind. Yeah, 100%
I'd
rewind.
go for rewind.
No, I'll pause
You'll pause. Why?
because time will stop. Everything around you might pause. You might just
But
pause,
yeah, but
and you could
what?
rest. You could rest because why do you want to rewind? Make that thing as a lesson for your life, and go for the future.
Uh, some things I would like to rewind to, like memories,
It's
you
a
know.
50-50.
I don't want to rewind anything if I had the possibility. Anyway,
Like suppose
Yeah.
if I'm with a person, like a really good person, and I had a really great time with that person, I would want to rewind it. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying that relive that same moment, rewind it and maybe try something different. Like what if I did this? Like suppose if I had to propose someone and like I don't know if that person's gonna say yes. I propose that person says no, I go rewind. I'm like, hey, how are you? And have a great time with her.
honestly, because of this, I changed my mind
See, when
because
girls come, this guy's mind starts working.
I mean honestly, but my mind has something going on right now. But maybe off camera I'll talk. This cannot be
All
on
right.
camera.
Anyways,
Anyway,
it was a great talk, guys. Make sure you
yeah,
subscribe and like this video, and stay tuned for another one. We upload the videos every week. So tune in, click the bell icon,
we
and
try to
stay
upload every Sunday, but sometimes we get too lazy. We don't edit it properly and don't get it time. So then we end up
He's
sometimes on
blaming me.
Thursday.
He's
I didn't blame
blaming
at
me
you. I said we.
indirectly.
I said we. I said we. I did not.
I'm the one who's editing.
That's the reason I didn't blame at you. I didn't put on you. You
Editor.
want me to say you? So
Right.
everybody, good night.
See
Whatever
ya.
time is it is for me, it's still good night because I'm pretty midnight for me. So good night. Have a good day. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment also, and share your thoughts about the particular topic of the fat models, what you talked about, how what you feel in society, and is it good or is it bad? That's very important.
And say
And
thanks to Kiwi for coming in the podcast.
yeah, yeah, and we hope that he comes again. And this time you put a fruit instead of a bird on him.
All right.
Anyway,
See you
Alatul,
guys.
see you.
Yeah.